It's The Clash. And it's been confirmed in explosive fashion that all was not well between Harry, Meghan and their podcast paymasters Spotify, with their £15 million three-year mega deal officially coming to an abrupt end. The streaming giant has decided against commissioning a second season of the Archetype series after receiving just 12 episodes of dreary interviews with a host of woke Sussex pals. But the real knockout blow came from Spotify executive Bill Simmons in a no-holds-barred podcast of his own.
I'm going to pose this question to you. You do a lot of business deals, a lot of negotiations.
I do.
Well, let's just.
I wish I had been involved in the Meghan and Harry leave Spotify negotiation. The fucking grifters. That's the podcast we should have launched with them. I got to get drunk one night and tell the story of the Zoom I had with Harry to try to help him with a podcast idea.
Do it.
It's one of my best stories.
So what do you think? Very simple question. Is Spotify's top exec right to describe Harry and Meghan as effing grifters? By the way, if you don't know what that means, it's an American term which means that you're out to swindle someone, basically. It means you're a small-scale swindler. Let me know your thoughts. Email me, dan@gbnews.com. Vote in our poll at GB News on Twitter. The results shortly, but doing battle on this now. Socialite and royal expert Lady Victoria Hervey, and the journalist and broadcaster and defender of Harry and Meghan, Nina Mishkov. So, Lady V, I mean, I found this utterly extraordinary because you've been in Hollywood a long time before you moved back here.
Yeah.
And Hollywood people don't talk like that. They might backstab people behind the scenes.
Yeah,
but this is the boss of Spotify, right, in terms of podcasts. He runs the commercialisation of that business. For him to go out publicly and describe these two as effing grifters, that doesn't happen. This is huge. Their Hollywood dreams are crumbling, are they not?
Yeah, no, I was actually quite shocked when I first heard it. I was like, wow, okay, he is savage. I mean, he is literally going for the jugular here. And obviously it must have ended, so badly. I don't know how much they did get paid of the total amount, but, they feel ripped off. I mean, Spotify, obviously, they were promised the world and...
Come on, 3 years.
They did not deliver.
3 years, £15 million. And they deliver 13 half-hour episodes. It's pathetic.
And did you see how many producers were actually on...
Yeah, hundreds.
Yeah.
And now Netflix wants to pull out too. So this is disastrous.
Well, we don't know.
We don't know.
Well, that's what I've been told, Nina, and I have impeccable sources on this.
There's the Invictus Games. There's also they're going to be filming in Africa. You have no idea about the Netflix. But I was told
by a top Hollywood source tonight. This was a conversation I had literally before we came to air. Quote me on this, I'll be proven right within a few weeks or a few months. Netflix wants to follow Spotify out the door and dump the Sussexes.
Well, why would Netflix do that?
Why are they doing that?
Why would Netflix do that? Because their Netflix series, the Sussexes Netflix series, it's very hard to say that, actually, it topped the charts for months. For months and months and months. So they've delivered for Netflix, and they are still delivering. In terms of Spotify, that guy is just trying to make a name for himself. He's got money.
Don't be ridiculous. He's already got 5 million followers. He's one of the most successful executives in American media.
And actually, to use that language, that's not the language of a professional. That's not an executive's language. It really isn't. And let me just say about their Spotify podcast, there are 12 episodes and the Christmas episode. Having said that, that was their podcast. Meghan was top People's Choice in People magazine, which is the top showbiz magazine.
Well, who cares?
People pay for that.
You cannot pay for People's Choice. That's voted for by the public. And also in the Gracie Awards, she was top entertainment podcast host.
Dove dumped her because she was lazy. And do you know what I found so interesting about this lady, Victoria? What I found so interesting is, when I used to speak to the courtiers all the time working within the royal family, they always used to describe Harry and Meghan as entitled, as too lazy to work hard.
I don't believe that for a moment.
I think that's
it's been proven by the commercial sector. Just let Lady V respond.
I think that is actually one of the reasons why, she took Harry to America, because she didn't want to be that person like the royal life and going to hospitals and visiting sick children and
What
opening
about
hospitals.
Grenfell? All the good work she did there.
She wants the
Almost
celebrity
undercover.
lifestyle. She wants
Almost
the red carpet.
undercover. She did that.
Nina,
she worked so hard with
come
those
on,
women
come
at
on,
Grenfell.
Come on. If
The rest-
they had done a good job and they'd worked hard for Spotify, Spotify wouldn't have just done them. Do you not accept that your heroes, Harry and Meghan, are just allergic to hard work?
They are not my. They are not
Entitled?
my heroes. They are not allergic to hard
they
work.
expect
And I don't think if you
everything for
looked at
nothing,
what Harry has achieved in his life and his hard work in the army, he is not
What's
a
he
shirker.
achieved the past 3 years since moving to Los Angeles?
He's achieved a lot. He's achieved.
What's he achieved over the past 3 years?
What about his Invictus Games? Still,
No, I'm not talking about that.
No.
He did that when he was in the royal family.
No,
Nina,
but he's still doing.
name
He
me
has
one
achieved-
thing that
he
Harry has achieved in the past 3 years
a
since moving to
happy
Hollywood.
life.
So he's achieved nothing for the public.
No, he's
achieved nothing for the public, and that's why he said he was moving.
Millions also for his from his book. He's given a load of money from his book.
So he's made money for himself.
And he's made money for himself. Well, he has to have. No, you deny that he should be able to make his own money.
No, but
he has to make his own money.
I'm
Otherwise, you'd
asking
say
you
he's
what
sponging
they've
off.
done for public service over the past 3 years.
He has worked very hard on
I'm
their
glad
charities.
you agree with me. They're about one thing.
No, not one thing. I don't.
The moolah. The greenback
No,
Lady
okay.
V. That's what this is about, Lady
No,
V.
it's
so
not.
what am I
It's
saying
absolutely
here?
not.
'Cause she's
And I
like,
have
we're
to
not supposed
say,
to talk over
Okay,
each other.
okay,
We're not
Nina,
supposed to
just
talk
let
over
Lady
each
V
other.
respond.
So what do you want me to say on it?
Well, haven't they proven they're all about the money?
What has he done? I mean, look, although the book, a lot of people didn't really like the book, but he obviously did make money from the book, right?
You would disagree with millions of people
but
around the
she's
world.
just
The
dragged
biggest
him-
selling non-fiction book in history.
Just let Lady V make her point.
But
Nina.
she has dragged him into the dirt. People loved Prince Harry. before.
She hasn't dragged him into the dirt.
has.
She has
And,
not.
he's
Harry
just followed her into it willfully.
She has helped him to extricate himself from a toxic situation in this country. I'd like to go back to
toxic.
Spotify on the podcast
Yes.
because the Obamas had a contract.
Yeah, and that was cancelled as well.
And they
Michelle
are very
Obama,
happy
Michael
with
Obama,
Audible.
sorry.
And I bet you very soon that Harry and Meghan will be with Audible or whoever
But
else.
Lady V,
and they will
this
do the
has
podcast.
damaged Harry and Meghan, though, because when you have a big company like Spotify describing them as effing grifters...
Having an exec like this coming out and calling them a
He's
grifter...
obviously
is
a
like,
repulsive human being.
that is a very negative thing that is going to probably have a very negative spin on things with also like her representation
Do you know what,
as
Nina?
well.
It's astonishing to me that you can't just admit they're lazy. They're afraid of hard
They're
work.
not lazy.
They expected
They
to go over
want
there
everything.
and make tens of millions simply by virtue of who they are. And you know what Hollywood is like? Lady V will tell you this. Hollywood
They
is
have
about
not.
what you're doing now.
They
People are
work hard.
expected to
And
work.
and she is about to sign a big deal with Deal.
But she's not ready
let's
for
see, Dior
hard
have
work.
denied that tonight. And let me just make one final point. They want to be like Oprah Winfrey. They want to be like Ellen DeGeneres in the big house in Montecito, Lady V.
Right.
Well, Oprah Winfrey and Ellen DeGeneres worked
They
5
worked
days a week
Right.
on producing the most popular talk show in America.
Yeah.
In Hollywood,
No,
you
I
have
agree.
to graft
Yeah, no,
in
I
order
agree
to
with that. And
achieve your billions.
just by seeing like their day-to-day, I don't know, it
Existence.
just seems like they just expect everything and just not putting in the work.
I don't think. I completely disagree
Okay, well,
with
look,
that.
you've got both sides of the argument there from Nina Mishkov and Lady Victoria Hervey. So who do you agree with? Are Harry and Meghan grifters? Munro writes, this is via Twitter. Oh, I'd say so. It's curious how the celebrity and business worlds are slowly turning their backs on these two. Surely that tells us something, doesn't it? Molam writes, I would say that seems to be an accurate summary. They should call them Harry Hustle and Meghan the Manipulator, the perfect trickster duo. And from Raoul, Meghan was more interested in whining on about herself than engaging actively with her guests. And your verdict is now in. 90% of you agree with that top Spotify executive, Bill Simmons, describing Harry and Meghan as effing grifters. Just 10% of you say they're not. Now,